Cell membrane can be selectively permeable, that it selects and it permits the transport across it. So selectively permeable cell membrane, that is plasma membrane also. Plasma is the cytoplasm. Plasma membrane, the membrane of the plasma. Okay, it's the transport of the molecules across it. It is selectively permeable. Okay, through it there are passive transport, osmosis, active transport, that is Na plus and K plus pump. Okay, in the neural chapter. Now in cell membrane or plasma membrane, an improved model of the structure of cell membrane was proposed by Singer and Nicholson in 1972, widely accepted as fluid mosaic model. Widely accepted as fluid mosaic model. Now, according to this model, that is fluid mosaic model, the quasi-fluid nature of lipid, the lipid, it is a quasi-fluid nature of lipid it allows lateral movement of proteins within the overall lipid bilayer. So cell membrane is a lipid bilayer, okay, that has a phospholipid. Cell membrane given by Singer and Nicholson is a phospholipid. Now there is that this quasi-fluid nature of lipid enables lateral movement of proteins within the overall bilayer. Now, this ability to move within the membrane is measured as its fluidity. Okay, so this was the cell membrane given by Singer and Nicholson in 1972. Let's see the lipid bilayer. Okay, so on this page you see this is a fluid mosaic model of plasma membrane, that is cell membrane. On this side you see so the cell membrane, you see cell membrane is mainly composed the cell membrane is mainly composed of lipids and proteins. The major lipids are phospholipids, the lipids containing the phosphorus that are arranged in a bilayer. So lipid bilayer, phospholipids bilayer is the cell membrane. Okay, so this was it. Now, as cell membrane is mainly of lipids and proteins, cell membrane mainly composed of lipids and proteins. So erythrocyte, take an example, has approximately 52% of protein and 40% of lipids, right? Now the arrangement of these lipids, let's talk about it. In the cell membrane, the lipids are arranged, these are the phospholipids, right? The lipids are arranged within the membrane with the polar head. So lipids have polar head and tails. So polar head towards the outer sides, the polar head towards the outer sides, and the hydrophobic tails towards the inner part. So these lipids, these are the phospholipids that has the polar head towards the outer sides and the hydrophobic tail towards the inner side, right? Now why is that? So this ensures that the non-polar tail of saturated hydrocarbons is protected from the aqueous environment. So tails, these are non-polar tail of saturated hydrocarbons. They are on inner side, this is how they protected from the aqueous environment, that is the polar environment, polar head towards the outer sides. Okay. Now phospholipids membrane also contains cholesterol, so mainly composed of proteins and lipids, and also contains the cholesterol, right? So this was the cell membrane. Now in cell membrane, discuss this diagram. Fluid mosaic model of plasma membrane. It's showing the cholesterol, you see. In addition to phospholipids, membrane also contains cholesterol. So this is shown cholesterol, you see. These are the peripheral protein. You see the phospholipid bilayer. The cell membrane is mainly composed of lipids and proteins, and the major lipids are phospholipids. Within the membrane that are arranged in a bilayer. So major lipids are phospholipids. Okay, that are arranged in a bilayer. So the bilayer is composed of phospholipid, which is a major lipid. The cell membrane is mainly composed of lipids and proteins, but the major lipids are phospholipids that are arranged in a bilayer. Okay, we have seen the lipids has polar heads that are present on the outer side. Okay, and the tail, which is a hydrophobic tail towards the inner side. When the hydrophobic tails towards the inner side, that protects them from the aqueous environment, because these are tails, these are hydrophobic, these are non-polar tail. The outer side, that is polar side, that can manage in the aqueous environment. Okay, and, and in addition to phospholipids, membrane also contains cholesterol, as shown in the diagram. You see, fluid mosaic model of plasma membrane given by Singer and Nicholson in 1972. In 1972. Okay. Okay. So this also contains cholesterol. Okay. See the sugar, peripheral protein. Okay. Integral protein and phospholipid bilayer. The cell membrane is a phospholipid bilayer. Okay. We also see the ratio of proteins and lipids. It varies, but in erythrocyte, it's 52% protein and 40% lipids, and cholesterol also present. So this was it. Let's repeat it again. Let's repeat that again. So the structure of cell membrane. Cell membrane. What is cell membrane? It is also known as plasma membrane, that covers the plasma, that is membrane. It is selectively permeable transport of the molecules across it. It can be passive transport, osmosis, and active transport. Active transport example, Na plus and K plus pump. Okay, with the help of ATP. Active transport is the energy requiring process. Okay, now the structure of cell membrane was proposed by Singer and Nicholson in 1972, widely accepted as fluid mosaic model, because it has fluid, that is a quasi-fluid nature of lipid. So lipid has quasi-fluid nature of lipid. Now this type of quasi-fluid nature of lipid, it enables lateral movement, that is side by side movements of proteins. These are peripheral proteins and integral proteins, as we seen in the diagram, right? Within the overall bilayer, that is lipid phospholipid bilayer. This ability to move within the membrane is measured as its fluidity. Okay, we can measure the cell membrane fluidity. Okay, because of the quasi-fluid nature of lipid. So this was it. So this was overall the plasma membrane. Okay, we have discussed it. This was the plasma membrane. Now after the plasma membrane, we also see the endomembrane system. Let's talk about endomembrane system. Endomembrane system has different organelles. Their functions are coordinated. Okay, their functions are coordinated. Now you see in here the endomembrane system include endoplasmic reticulum, that is ER, that is endoplasmic reticulum, then Golgi complex, lysosomes and vacuole. So these are the four organelles. These are the four different organelles included in the endomembrane system. Okay, and why they are included in the endomembrane system? Because their functions are coordinated. Although since the functions of the mitochondria and chloroplast and peroxisomes are not coordinated with the above components, and this is why they are not the part of the endomembrane system. So endomembrane system, because their functions are coordinated, and these include the endoplasmic reticulum, that is ER, can be RER and SER, then the Golgi complex, then lysosomes and the vacuoles. Now in ER, that is endoplasmic reticulum, okay, are two types. These are the SER, that is smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and rough endoplasmic reticulum, right? Rough endoplasmic reticulum bears the ribosomes on it from the protein synthesis, and smooth endoplasmic reticulum is the major site of for synthesis of lipids. So smooth endoplasmic reticulum is the major site for synthesis of lipid. In animal cells, lipid-like steroidal hormones are synthesized in SER. So smooth endoplasmic reticulum is the major site for synthesis of lipid. Okay, and RER is frequently observed in the cells actively involved in protein synthesis and secretion. So protein synthesis and secretion takes place in RER. Okay. And in the absence of ribosomes, they appear smooth and are called a smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So RER and SER. You see in the diagram. This is the diagram of endoplasmic reticulum. Okay. This is the diagram of endoplasmic reticulum. You see the nucleus that has the nuclear pore for the movement of bidirectional movement of protein and mRNA from out and into the nucleus that has derived. The endoplasmic reticulum is a derived structure from the nucleus. Okay, now if the ribosomes on it, then it's a rough endoplasmic reticulum. If the ribosome is absence of ribosomes, they appear smooth, and these are smooth endoplasmic reticulum. So this was the structure of endoplasmic reticulum.